live from the CNET studios in San Francisco, California. It's the Apple Byte Extra Crunchy with your host, Brian Tom.
What's up, everybody? Welcome. Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, depending on when you're listening to this amazing podcast. It's the Apple Byte Extra Crunchy. We are hitting up episode 2727. We're going strong. We're still in business, man.
27, man.
We're still in business. My mom's listening. Your mom's listening. We are good. We just want to say thank you, everyone who is listening, continues to watch this show grow. We've got people, right? Our network is deep. Periscope, I see you.
Periscope in the
YouTubers,
house.
I see you. Live streamers, I see you. I'm looking at the correct cameras when I call them out. TuneIn, SoundCloud, YouTube, live stream, iTunes, feed, all that.
It's
we
everywhere.
are here. It's everywhere. Again, this show is all about you guys. We're just here to present the information and talk about it. We love hearing your calls. We got some calls this week, as usual. Call us at 1-800-616-2638. I expect to hear voicemails about whatever you want. You can have questions, topics. We know Apple's event is coming up in March. If you want to ask us questions about that, if you want to talk more FBI Apple, we can also talk about that as well. So let's just jump right into it. We're going to continue this whole FBI versus Apple saga. There is more news to report. Just to kind of catch you up on the cliff notes, right? The FBI requested Apple to create a backdoor into iOS, creating kind of what everyone is referring to as the FBI OS. You like that, Beecham? You like that?
That's clever.
Yeah. You could like
Good
logo
guys.
it out and everything. It's like kind of cool, right?
Yeah.
So Apple said no. The tech world supported Apple and said no. And here's the latest happenings. Just kind of some very interesting things. First of all, the latest report from the New York Times says Apple engineers have now begun developing new security measures for a new, basically, version of the iOS that's basically going to make it pretty much impossible for not only Apple, but also government officials to hack into iPhones. So they're making a more secure, more highly encrypted, a version that they won't even be able to get into.
Yeah, and
in response to all of this happening.
And it's almost like they're almost racing to get this done too before Congress or any judiciary committee steps in and makes any new laws for them to not be able to do this. So it's crazy.
This is according to people close to the company and security experts as well. Here's the thing. If Apple does succeed in upgrading its security, we know right now the FBI is requesting a court order. So let's say this goes through, okay? It means that the next version or the next evolution of iOS will not be FBiOS. Yeah. It'll be a more secure version. And then what this would likely prompt is another cycle of court fights. And yet again, more probably, it's a race. It becomes a race.
Yeah. Actually, one of the articles...
ongoing hamster cycle.
Yeah, one of them actually referred to it as an arms race, so to speak. So
true.
It's very interesting what's going on. But
a race de los brazos. Yeah. See my Spanish speaking community. I'm multicultural. But I didn't. Did I say race? I don't even think I said race properly. I just said de los brazos of the arms.
Yeah.
It works. The only way out of this, and this is what Tim Cook has actually suggested, is for Congress to get involved to make a decision on this situation between the FBI and Apple. Recently, we know that Tim Cook is supposed to be, and Apple, they're supposed to give a response to the court order on February the 26th, which would be tomorrow. But it's expected that Tim Cook is going to say, we want Congress to decide this.
Yeah, which is a tough sell because Congress doesn't do anything. They just kind of sit and collect our tax money.
Convenient that he would suggest Congress.
Yeah, he's like, why don't you get them involved? They don't do anything. They're probably not even working. So,
Now, here's another thing that everyone is wondering. What makes this so much harder to, why can't they just get the data from the phone? So, for example, and we have a call about this, federal wiretapping laws require traditional phone carriers, so your AT&Ts, your Verizons, to make their data accessible to law enforcement agencies. That is by law. But tech companies like Apple and Google and so on are not covered by this. So they have continued to fight and resist legislation that would place similar requirements on them. Hence, that's why they have a voice in this battle. That's why Apple can speak up against what the FBI and the Justice Department is requesting from them. Right now, that's what's going on.
Yeah, it's big. It's unprecedented, too, that a giant humongous company from America would say no, straight up, no,
Right?
we're not going to do this. I don't think that's ever happened in history. And they're arguing, they're using the argument with the Writs Act of 1789, the All Writs Act of 1789, which basically said they're basically saying that it's out of the FBI's jurisdiction, right? That's why they're calling on Congress to pass a law to get this taken care of. So it's very interesting.
So let's just kind of take a pause, and we're going to jump into, we have a really cool phone call from one of our own Apple biters, Sham-L. He actually works for a carrier, so he kind of has a little more insight on this whole situation between Apple and FBI. So we'll take a listen, and then we'll jump back in the show.
Hey, what's going on, BTZ? What's going on, Beacham? This is Shamar from Atlanta. Hey, I just wanted to chime in on this on the FBI versus Apple story. They do not need to hack that iPhone. Whoever the carrier is can easily give them the numbers dialed, the text messages, all of that. Because guess what? The FBI does that all the time. As someone who works for a carrier, trust me, if the government wants to get that information, they can get it from the carrier. There's no reason to break into that iPhone whatsoever. This is just another ploy to try to get into iPhones and to try to be able to access more data. So no, I voted in your poll, Brian. I was like, no way. This is garbage. There's no need for this. So I just wanted to chime in on that. Thanks, guys. Love the show. Bye.
Great insight, from someone who is directly involved with how they deal with this stuff.
Yeah, and Apple also put this argument forward that the phone that is in question is a company phone. So the company could have installed some software on there that would allow them to hack it if maybe the employee was terminated or something, then they get the phone back, then they can hack it and get their phone back working and everything. So Apple's been saying you guys missed your opportunity to do this.
Yeah.
So that's also another one of their arguments. It's crazy.
Here's another thing, because we talked about a lot about this last week, and there's been a lot of little nuggets that have come during this time. I don't think we talked about this on last week's show, at least Apple Byte Extra Crunchy. But one of the other things that stuck out about this case is that it was reported and confirmed by BuzzFeed that when government officials actually acquired this phone, right, they asked Apple to build a backdoor in it. But one of the things that the government officials did is once they had this phone, they actually, they probably tried to get into it with some sort of password guessing, but they decided to, on their own, reset the actual iCloud password for this phone. Now, what this potentially does is that Apple said, look, you guys actually reset the phone's password, which pretty much kind of like resets its connection in case they could have tried or attempted to make a backup, an automated iCloud backup of your phone whenever you're connected to Wi-Fi. If that setting is on, auto backup is prompted, and potentially, this is not guaranteed, but they potentially could have pulled some more information that they needed from this auto iCloud backup. But it didn't trigger because guess why? They changed the password on the phone.
It's just like
this has been confirmed, right? So that's bugaboo number one, or actually I don't know, number whatever.
Number 100.
Number a bunch,
like.
right?
Yeah.
But then the other thing is this whole story was around the idea of like the FBI just wants to get access to this one phone, right? Yep. Apple, help us with this one phone. Well, a Wall Street Journal reports that the Justice Department is also currently, it's been brought to light, they've been seeking to force Apple to extract their data from about 12 other phones.
Yeah, so, and the other phones are criminal cases that are not terrorist related. So, it's like they're setting a precedent just to get in everyone's phone.
This is already showing us what is going to happen, right? It hasn't even happened.
I know. It's like it's setting the precedent already. Like Apple's just going to argue like everyone's going to, they're all going to not trust us because we're going to allow the government to get into everyone's phone, and that's their main argument here. So,
and I get it. There's an 18-minute window of time that FBI officials are trying to use to see what is happening. I completely see both sides of the argument. I see the person who's here listening and saying, I'd rather have national security. I don't care about this. Let them into the phone. Just do it, right? But this is more than just Apple this is more than national security versus our privacy. To me, it also alludes to the fact that, look, if something happens where Apple has to create a backdoor, it sets a precedent for other companies to have to create basically a softer form of encryption on our devices, right?
Yeah.
Weaker encryption that doesn't make just us vulnerable to the FBI, but what about other countries that are looking for backdoors into our products to get information from us as Americans into the government? This sets a larger precedent than just privacy versus security.
You can have Russia, you can have China demanding Apple open phones for them. It's
Weaker encryption is bad.
Yeah, it endangers everyone. It's like a Pandora's box. It's a very dangerous thing. So.
The other thing that I'm thinking about is, okay, people have access to email. Like the FBI has been able to access emails and phone numbers. Okay, that can track most of what you're doing, right?
Yeah.
If they were using third-party apps, which is actually pretty smart.
Yeah.
They
do.
Yeah, I'm like, oh well, yeah. That would be a lot, more difficult to get that information.
For sure.
But from what I've seen in this case, the people who did this have been caught. The people who were accessories to it have been caught or killed themselves, right?
Yeah.
So we know what happened. Someone wrote to me and said, "Wouldn't you, if one of those people that were killed in the hospital was a family member, would that change how you feel about this?" But honestly, taking a step back, does it change? Quite honestly, me as a human, does it change the outcome that one of my loved ones died? The people that did this are also dead, and they caught the person who was part of the crime. I mean, I'm more worried about I'm worried on just like letting that loss heal itself. And these people, have they been brought to justice? They're dead. What can you do, right?
Yeah.
I can't control that.
Yeah. It's out of
I can't control what happened. And today, this is a larger statement on life, and I'm going on a tangent. I really feel like because of how things are, we can't control what happens, and you and I might be in the wrong place at the wrong time, and I can't do anything about that, so I'm not going to freak out about it.
Yeah.
It's just, there's so many tragedies that are happening around us. It's just life now. So it wouldn't change my mind. Yes, I would still want Apple to keep these phones secure.
Yeah.
It's a long way to go around it, but I kind of wanted to follow connect the dots to let you know what what I'm thinking if I had to put myself in this situation.
And you're not alone, Brian. We have some polls later in the show. A lot of people agree.
Some people agree, some people don't, right?
Yeah.
So for all of you watching, we're really curious to hear what you say. I'm gonna try to at least look at these comments and see if we can just chime in with what some of you are saying. But while we do that, we're gonna look at a poll from the Pew Research Center, and this was sent out across the board across the U.S. Right, they're a large company that does research like this to get the pulse of what is America thinking. Right,
yeah.
What do they think about this? So here are the results. About half of the respondents, according to this Pew Research, say Apple should unlock a terror suspect's phone. So 51%,
50-50,
51% said Apple should definitely unlock this phone. Now, again, I don't know how the questions were exactly presented, but okay. 38% said Apple should not unlock the phone. 11% were twiddling their thumbs and said, don't know. I don't know. This is not a hard survey.
I know, but it is a tough question. I mean,
it is tough.
When the story first broke, I was going back and forth. Yeah, they should unlock it,
Yeah.
but wait, no, they shouldn't. Once you learn more information, your mind sort of changes. So
yeah. So the general public is kind of split on this issue.
Yeah. And then they even broke these polls down to like Republican versus Democrat, and it's like 50-50 in that too. And people who own iPhones as opposed to people who don't own iPhones, and it was 50-50 for there too. I mean, it's pretty much split right down the country on what we should do about this.
I was reading on our feed of Periscope, someone said Apple should just give them the passcode to the phone, but we want to kind of re-educate everyone, and Apple never actually knows the passcode.
No.
It is specific to the physical phone, and it is coded to the hardware. Basically, whatever number that I punch in, only the phone knows that. Apple never sees that. Apple never knows that. So that's why Apple can't just give them a passcode.
Yeah. If they break into this phone, they break into every phone.
Exactly.
So that's the problem.
So if Apple stored these passcodes, they would, who knows if how hard they would fight to give them over. But the fact that any company owns the passcode, that's a no-no. That's just bad.
Yeah.
That does not secure our privacy.
Yeah, and they got in big trouble about this like a couple of years ago when there were keystrokes being stored in the phones, and they got rid of that right away once people figured that out. So
I'm sorry, some of you might disagree, but we don't want the government to have the key to every one of our houses, which they kind of almost already do. They're doing stuff behind the scenes that we don't even know or see. Like reports from last week we talked about, they were releasing tweaked versions of Apple software so that they could follow keystrokes on their phones. Like they were doing stuff like that already. So, I mean, I am not against being secure and safe. Don't get me wrong, but there is a matter of personal privacy that has to be part of this whole equation. So
I keep making this really dark analogy in my head that I don't know, like, I don't know if, let me know if it works, but I keep thinking like the iPhone is almost like an appendage to your body, sort of, you know what I mean? Like it contains very important
health
information. So like if you get your thumb cut off and you lose the fingerprint, and you lose that piece of evidence, right?
Yeah.
It's gone. There's nothing you could ever do about it. And I've been thinking about the iPhone in the same way. If it's locked, it's gone. There's nothing you can do about it. And that's just the way life is.
Yeah,
so, I don't know.
It's
weird.
For some people, I'm sure someone has implanted an iPhone on their body somewhere. Or I mean,
oh yeah, that's
right?
happened. There's a guy. I've been trying to interview him.
We've been trying to find that
In his arm.
We've been trying to find that guy. He's out there. He or she.
He is.
Quite honestly. So this is a great conversation. This is the biggest story of 2016, without a doubt.
Oh yeah.
Right at the beginning of the year. It's fascinating. It's going to continue and move in different directions. So I'm just happy that we can actually talk about kind of something smarter.
Yeah, rather than
just
bezel
like
size. And
Oh, which leads us directly to our next story.
Perfect.
You want bezels? We got bezels. So a report, we're going to transition out of this. And again, feel free to call us before we do this. Feel free to call us at 1-800-616-2638. Leave us your name, where you're from, and your thoughts on this or any other questions you have. I mean, this is a great time to be able to have a great dialogue with all of you. And again, I don't think there's a wrong answer. I think there's so many sides to this story. That's what makes it fascinating to me. Yeah. Okay. Let's talk about bezels, right? We're talking about, high-level conversation. Let's bring it back down a little. Let's bring
Fun
it down.
stuff, man.
According to 9to5Mac, they have acquired iPhone 5 SE drawings and renderings that indicate the iPhone 5 SE, surprise, surprise, will be nearly identical to the iPhone 5S.
Oh, man.
I mean, come on, who thought any different? The main differences that we've been able to find from these renders, these are from a case maker. The actual thickness of the phone will reportedly be exactly the same, as well as the dimensions. So your iPhone 5S case could fit this iPhone 5 SE. The main difference is that the power button, which is typically, at least with the iPhone 5S, located on that top corner.
Which I love.
You loved. You ain't gonna love it no more. They're putting it back on the side.
Oh, man.
They're putting it back on the side.
I miss my iPhone 5, man. This iPhone 6S, I hate it.
Oh, no. I think that's a lie.
No, I mean, it works. It's functional. It's just too big. That's my only
That's what
gripe.
she said.
It's just too, yeah, exactly. But yeah, it's too big, and I don't like the button on the side because when I try to turn it off, I accidentally hit the volume buttons, and then nothing happens.
I will tell you two things. You just brace for it, Stevie. You'll get used to the size.
All right.
Also, though, I'm gonna tell you these larger screen iPhones. I don't know if there's actually some condition. I was talking to my lady about this. Like, do you guys have that pinky pain stress?
That's what I'm suffering
No, I'm
from.
straight up. I'm serious because it's so large. Look at you actually have this thing where like our pinkies are starting to like like bend differently because of we're holding our phones like this like claw. Like I'm serious. Like look at okay, my hand like non-flex. Why is my pinky in so much? Why like non-flex? What's going on here? Shouldn't I be able to go like this and be like totally flat? But it's not. It's like crooked, yo.
Humans are gonna evolve to have screwed up pinkies.
This is
gonna be a bummer.
I thought the evolution of the iPhone was gonna help us create iceps right? Like develop this muscle right here on the soft part of your because you're always like tapping, right? Did you ever get
Hell
sore
yeah.
thumbs when you first?
Oh my god,
Yeah,
yeah.
I was
Definitely.
building iceps. I don't feel that pain anymore. So I'm pretty. But now the pinky thing, dude, it feels
Pinky.
weird. Like right, if I wiggle it right now, I can already feel like there's stress. It feels weird. It's different, right? Don't
I
tell
totally
me I'm
agree,
wrong,
man.
right?
No, you are dead right, man. I have the same pinky stress right now.
This is real talk, everybody. Real talk. Anyways, I will say though, I'm curious what happens with the iPhone 5 SE. They're putting an A9 processor in it. That's the rumor. So it's pretty much up to speed with the current 6S. I know, yeah, we'll see an iPhone 7, which will be a little faster, but I do agree that people are writing on here that there is kind of still a market for someone who loves the 4-inch phone.
Oh yeah.
Beach
oh my
home.
god.
Like seriously,
I would go back. I would.
seriously,
Seriously. It's not bad.
He might go
fits
back.
comfortably in my hand.
he might go back. Now that whole pinky thing, it's like I'm feeling it right now. I'm like, oh, I hate that. I hate that so much. Okay, in other phone talk, just to kind of whet your appetite of what people are talking about, the Galaxy S7 just recently announced showcase at Mobile World Congress. According to DisplayMate, don't worry, iPhone fans, you might cry. It is the best. The OLED display is the best display on the phone to date. Samsung's OLED display, specifically on the S7.
Really?
Now, here's the other thing. I don't know if any of you saw the Mobile World Congress keynote, but Mark Zuckerberg came out and he was talking about VR and Gear VR. And he outright said, because of OLED displays and the refresh rate and the way they're able to showcase visuals, it is the screen of choice for VR.
It's the new standard.
Right? Apple's
right.
using LCD screens, different types of LCD screens still, but you want your VR.
Yeah.
I have a Gear VR hook. I have a Gear VR setup, and unless I've used Google Cardboard and iPhone, I guess we need to compare the same exact source and really see like how much different does it really feel, or does it make a difference? But OLED advantages are there.
We got to have like a VR shootout of like what has the best resolution. We're gonna have to come up with new ways to test these things too.
Here's also how I see it. Okay, all of a sudden Apple, there's reports that Apple will be bringing OLED screens in 2018. That's where they are.
Far.
They're waiting for the technology to mature. Yeah, right. To be ready for the market. So here, look, some of the differences that stand out is that DisplayMate notes that LCDs remain more power efficient, especially when displaying mostly white content, right? So text on a white background. But OLEDs are more power efficient with more typical mixed image content, right? Color, imagery, like beautiful stuff that we like to see.
Also, does OLED get hot?
I don't know. I don't know if it gets hotter. I do know that it's an actual thinner display as well.
Really?
Right? Look at Samsung was able to keep their Galaxy S7 just the same thickness, but waterproof it as well without making it thicker. It's like, come on now.
That's pretty cool.
Come on, that's cool. So I'm just saying, OLED 2018. OLED 2018, baby. All right. Just some quick stuff going on in the OS stuff. We talked about a few episodes ago how there was that January 1, 1970 bug where if you set the date and you were real jerky and you put that date on someone's phone, it would pretty much like brick the phone. Well, the latest iOS 9.3 beta that has been released has resolved that issue.
Nice.
So, don't be doing that to someone's phone. That's just not cool.
No.
Don't do that. Okay? That's what's happening there. Another iOS 9.3 beta kind of thing that came up. Apple has responded. A lot of people are using their iPad Pros, right? Their Pencil, and you can navigate the iPad Pro with it. iOS 9.3 beta came out and removed that ability for the Pencil to navigate your iPad Pro. Basically, your Pencil can no longer be a stylus.
Now that's got to be annoying. So you're like getting used to something. You got this new toy. You're using it all the time. And all of a sudden, like, oh wait, it doesn't work anymore. Oh, Apple took that away.
Yeah, and everyone's like, "What's going on?" They're freaking out. Their Pencil can no longer be used as a stylus. Don't call it a stylus, right? Don't call it a stylus. So Apple responded to The Verge and told them that they're working on improvements. It will return the navigation capability of the Pencil to be used like a stylus will come back. It's not a stylus, okay?
In the next beta, right?
But they said it will roll out
Yeah.
once 9.3 actually comes out. It'll support
Okay, nice.
navigation, clicking on apps. I mean, how could you, in a weird way though, you almost could see Apple deliberately saying, "No, this is a pencil. You're only going to be able to use it in drawing apps." I hate you all.
Yeah, that's true.
I can totally see that, right? Anyways, that's also happening. And then finally, this from 9 to 5 Mac, Siri for the Mac is planned to be one of the kind of key tentpole features in OS 10 10.2. This is according to 9 to 5 Mac. They've been working on it since 2012. The much like Spotlight appears in that top right-hand menu bar. You could click on it and then
talk to Siri.
do your search. Yeah, you'll be able to talk to Siri.
Man.
There will also be a keystroke that allows the Siri prompt to come up. We haven't seen this in anything like Windows with Cortana. We've never seen this before.
Yeah.
But
I love Cortana,
yeah,
man.
Cortana is actually really nice.
Yeah.
So
great.
it's one of the new kind of nuggets of news that came out so far.
That's great.
So
Cool.
I say let's hit our calls.
Let's hit the
See
calls.
what's going on, all right?
All right. So last week we had this contest to say Swiss. I can't even say.
You can't even say the first
I can't
word.
even say Swiss.
You can't even say the
Swiss
first word.
Smartwatch shipments.
Wait, or is it Swiss watch shipments?
Swiss watch shipments. I can't even say that shit.
Yes.
Okay.
It was a Swiss watch shipments 5 times fast.
Some people called it attempted. One guy failed, even though he thought he won. Let's listen.
Let's hear it out.
Charles.
Yo, Brian, what up? It's Charles Washington from Detroit, Michigan, baby. And I got the Swiss Watch Challenge 5 times fast. Swiss Watch, Swiss Watch, Swiss Watch, Swiss Watch, Swiss Watch. Boom. Yo, shout out to the Detroit Pistons. Yo, and Steph Curry sucks. I'm out.
Yo, okay, first of all, Charles.
Swiss Watch ship.
Hold on. Charles, first up, you suck. Okay, Charles, my man, he's cool. He tweeted me and said, "I just killed it." Like right
Did he
after.
really?
Yo, he said, "I just killed it."
He's so
He
proud.
was so on it. Charles, my man, it was Swiss watch shipments, not Swiss watch. Swiss watch shipments, Swiss watch, like fast. Also, he said Steph Curry sucked. I'm sorry. Did you watch the Miami game? Steph Curry hit 2 3-pointers when they were behind in the last minute, and the Warriors, the Dubs, won. Okay, Steph Curry, 51-5. We clearly suck.
He was hanging out with Obama the other day. He played at Augusta National. Played a golf round at
Clearly,
Augusta National.
Hey, just because you
The
Detroit,
best.
we the best. Just because the Detroit Pistons beat the Warriors on an off night, be happy. That was your NBA Finals, Charles. I'm sorry though. I'm not trying to rip on you, but Charles, you didn't do the contest right. You just didn't do it.
Call back and try again.
All right. Next up.
Okay. Here's the next one. Let me turn off the mic so everyone can hear.
Okay, yeah, we want the Periscopers to hear.
Swiss Watch ships it. Swiss Watch shipment. Swiss Watch shipment. Swiss Watch shipment. Swiss.
He got 3 of them. He got 3.
Dude, he didn't
Yeah.
tell us his name though. He just
He
called
did,
right
yeah.
in. He just went for
Yeah,
it.
he did it. Yeah.
He was just he just
That was,
wanted
he
to
did
try.
2. That was 2 attempts actually. 2 different attempts that I just played.
That was
But,
good.
He won. Whoever that is. Thank you. Call us back and tell us who.
Oh wait,
who
he won?
I think he did 3.
It's
He's the only-
5.
but he's the only guy who was able to.
No,
even
if there's
do
no
it.
winner, there's no winner.
Okay, no winner.
No winner. Hey, there
Brian
ain't no
Tong laying down the law, man. He runs the show.
I gotta be a man of my word. My integrity is
All right.
at stake
I
here.
respect that. Okay. All right. Here's our last call from a big fan here.
Hey Brian, hey Stephen, it's Jordan Richards here from Adelaide, Australia. Due to Apple releasing the iPad Air 3 earlier this year, what do you think they'll be releasing in October, November time? Alright, love the show, keep on Apple biting.
We will keep on Apple buying, Jordan. This is come on. What do you all think? iPad Pro 2. iPad Pro 2 in October. iPad feel my face. Man, that jam was pretty good.
It was good. Every
was
time
fun.
that song comes on, I think about
That's
that.
that's what a
The
few of my
Grammys.
friends are like, dude, you screwed it up for me.
I know.
I keep on thinking of your
I ruined
stupid
it for
video
me.
now.
Yeah.
It's because you did such an awesome job
funny.
putting that together, man.
Thanks.
It was fun. We always love to collab. I actually got another one for you, but just like a
Throw
quick,
it at
like
me.
a
I
30
can't wait.
second thing, not a 2-minute one,
That's
just
all
a
good.
quick. Okay, we'll talk. So, Jordan, yeah, iPad Pro 2 Mini maybe around the same time, but iPad Air 3 expected in March, along with the iPhone 5 SE, along with some Apple Watch bands, and maybe something else that might surprise us. I don't know. We'll find out, though. March 15th is the rumored date for Apple's next announcement. It has not been yet confirmed, so we'll wait and see what happens.
Cool.
All right. I think that's a wrap for this week.
I think that is a wrap.
Okay,
we've covered it
Beecham.
all.
So, anyways, again, if you guys want to be a part of the show, just call us. It's the old, use a phone, like the old days. 1-800-616-2638. I'm Brian Tong. He's Stephen Beecham. Steven, say goodbye to the people.
Later, guys. Thank you very much for
Peace.
watching.